What did you feel was the biggest impact in your life not having a father or a father figure that you can rely on in your life?
The biggest impact is you don't realize how like later on in the future that really messes with somebody. And I feel like as a man, not having a male figure there, first a male figure that loves the Lord is I think the number one thing, because that just sets everything else like
Into
sets
place.
everything else in place. For me, there's just certain things that I've like I feel like I'm dealing with now is being just communication and learning how to love and reciprocate it, and learning how to be understanding, and being a leader. And
Right.
literally, I'm doing all this right now on my own with Christ, which is so like it's not easy and it's hard, because I feel like even to this day, like by the reaction of my daughter and how she acts with me and how we act in our relationship, I know I'm a good dad. But there's just still part of me that I'm like that I feel like I could do more.
You could have been set up better.
Yeah, set up better, right?
You know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Carlos Granados podcast. Welcome everybody again. First of all, thank you guys for always liking and showing love to my channel. Don't forget that we are in 4K on YouTube. And of course, you can listen to this podcast in all the audio platforms you can think of. And today we have a special guest, a really good friend of mine, Kevin. Welcome to the potty, bro. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad that you finally made it. We finally make it happen, bro.
I'm glad you finally put me on. You brought me along,
After 30 episodes. Nah, we're here though, man. And I think today we're speaking about a lot of important things, especially your growth and your faith, some of the things that you've been doing in life. You're also an entrepreneur and you have your own business. And I want people to hear your side of things. You know what I mean? So do you want to tell people how we met, how we got started?
Yeah, back in I think it was 2020.
Yeah, 2020, COVID
Yeah,
time.
COVID year. We met through Victory Church through a small group that we started. So COVID happened, and then they were kind of pushing to do small groups, through Zoom.
Through Zoom.
And so that's how we were, through mutual friends, we got connected. It was like, what, 15 of us maybe?
Yeah. And we kicked it off right away too, bro.
Yeah, right off the bat. We all met. We all connected through Zoom. It was funny because it was through, everybody was in their homes, locked down, not going out or anything. And as soon as summer hit, everything started to open back up again. And we were just like, let's see if we can take this small group out of just Zoom.
The quarantine situation we were on.
Yeah, and so we took that out of Zoom, and everybody just clicked so like it just flowed so easily, and since then we just became really good friends, and
yeah.
And now here we are.
And now here we are, but that's cool, man. Yeah, really interesting moments when it comes to the COVID years and the small group and stuff. I think that did wonders for a lot of us, man. But talking about church and talking about that walk, how has your faith been recently? What have you felt? Some of the things that you felt like you've grown at, since you've gotten closer to the Lord. Especially, there's always a time before COVID and after COVID, and I feel like. When did you start following the Lord, and how have you felt like that change has transformed you up to this point?
So I think that I started going to Victory Church 2016, I believe. The year I graduated from high school, kind of was just wanted to just go back to church on my own, and wanted to figure out just my life and where I wanted to be and where I wanted to go. But it was just, I feel like I was just still going back and forth. I wasn't really, I guess you could say, taking my relationship with Jesus seriously. Even with COVID, I think COVID so from 2016 to 2020, it was just going like just in and out, just 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I didn't really feel like I was,
building a relationship.
Yeah, building a relationship with Christ. I think it was just still more in me, and like just in my spirit, that was just like more longing for a relationship with God. And so 2020 hit. That's where, I was married for a year, and then 2020 came around. Beginning of 2020, got divorced. Um, Ended up having to move out of our apartment. Moved in with my aunt and some family right before COVID hit. And then COVID hit, and everything was locked down. Everybody was in their homes. So it was just me with my family. I was living in their basement for a while, and that was a point where God had set me free from smoking marijuana. I had been smoking for so long, and I've always tried to do it on my own. Always try to take tolerance breaks and stuff like that, and I just couldn't. And God, looking back now, I see that there's certain things that I feel like I went through that God showed me something, like there was something better that came out of that situation. And so for me was like the divorce. I needed to learn how to I just felt like that was a push for me to I need to stop smoking. I need to stop, start getting my life together. And so 2020 came, I got divorced, stopped smoking. He set me free from that. Praise the Lord.
Amen,
and
brother.
4 years clean out, going on 5 years January.
Wait. We got something for that.
Yeah. I feel like I'm on a Nickelodeon show. But yeah, so that happened. And so not being able to hang out with friends in person and being forced to be in a house, that's where I felt like I started to really, first I took my reading my word seriously. I made that a priority because I wasn't working. I wasn't doing anything. So I took my relationship with Christ, I feel like that whole COVID lockdown very seriously, where I felt God for the first time. And I was like, oh, I want more of this. And then, we started hanging out and started, just doing our daily lives, and kind of pushed God off to the side, and was enjoying friendship again. Was enjoying going out and doing things. And I mean, and it happens, right? I feel like we all slip up, and
true.
But it's just, and that's so great about God, dude, that even when we push him off to the side, even when we kind of just throw him under the rug, the minute we want to go back to him, he's like, I've been waiting for you.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back home.
And so it's just been on and off since 2020 till about, I would say, last year, where it was still, I wouldn't say 100% there, my relationship with Christ. I feel like I was still 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of thing. Yeah, till about last year, where I wanted to take it more seriously. I was like, I feel like now it's like all the decisions that I make, I'm like thinking, would God like this? Would he not like this? Whether it's for business, whether it's being a dad, whether it's whatever it is, the decisions that I'm making, it's always thinking about, is this gonna glorify God? Is this gonna make me a better person? And I never had that mentality, right? Up to I feel like really, really seriously up last year. And it hasn't been perfect, but it's been, the spiritual warfare has definitely been
a struggle, brother.
A struggle. And it's because I have been genuinely and intentionally wanting to have a relationship with Christ, reading his word, and wanting to get closer to him, and knowing how he loves and knowing his heart, so that I can be that dad for my daughter, so I can be that future husband for whoever that person is. Because I never had any of that growing up. And so I just want to be able to just, see what it is that God has for my life.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I love the fact that you're broken down in a time period, because I think that's important. I think, a lot of people have maybe misconceptions, like when you come to Christ, your world changes, and it does. But a lot of the people, and most of us, it's a slow process that it takes for us to keep seeing.
Oh, and it's never going to get easier.
Yeah, exactly. And there's another misconception that people think that, you walk into the life and you're like, oh, now everything is better.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
not.
If anything, it's much harder.
100%.
Because it's a simple concept, right? If you're already part of the world and you're trying to leave that, then the enemy doesn't want you to leave, and he will do anything and everything to keep you there.
Yeah.
While you're trying to, get and build a relationship with the Lord. So the enemy attacks you more, and especially in your weaknesses, right? We've both experienced that many and countless times. I mean, we're just thankful that God, it's a graceful God, bro, because the amount of times we just mess up is just, we heard him all the time.
Right.
But I'm glad you broke it down in a time period where, from 16 to 20, you didn't take it too serious, or you were just, iffy about it. COVID came along, you got closer to him, and then eventually, once you got that freedom back again, quote unquote, then you kind of step aside and you put him to the side where you're being back to living your life, and you start noticing that that longing for the Lord, right? You want more of him, and you're like, yo, this is not. I miss that, and you want to get closer, and I think eventually that I can relate to that so much, because it's part of the process, or our process as Christian people. So I appreciate you sharing that, man. So because of your faith, you also, and growing in your faith, you also started a business recently. Well, how long have you had it for? Like 2 years now?
A year now, officially. August last month was a year.
So can you tell us more about that? What was the process like? What was the decision making? And how has it been so far? Maybe some of the struggles. A lot of people want to do entrepreneurial stuff, but sometimes they don't know what it takes, and sometimes they don't understand how hard it is. So if you can get into that for us.
Right. So for me, I started doing, I do wheel repairing. And so a lot of people are just like, wheel, what is that? And so it's just pretty much obviously fixing like curb rash scratches on the wheels, on the rims, on the cars.
Right.
Breaking it down, just sanding it down, cleaning them, making them smooth again, painting them, clear coating them, and just making them look new. And I've been doing that for about 6 years, working for somebody else, working with like, friend.
So at the beginning, you were working with somebody else.
Right. Yeah. So back in 2019 is where that's where I picked it up, started doing it. Because right after high school, I went to college, very little, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think college is. I was like, this is not my thing. Yeah. And so since then, I mean, even since high school, I did construction, I've done retail, I've done the restaurant business, I've done so many things trying to figure out what it is that I want to do. And even in going to college and not doing that, I was like, I got to figure out something,
right?
Because I'm not gonna, working at, and just restaurant or something
for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's not gonna slide by. So I started doing that, and I quickly realized, I was like, there's a lot of money in this business. And I was making still, decent money, and I was working for somebody else, getting paid a percentage, and I was like, there's good money in this. It's not, I've done really hard construction jobs, and this is not hard at all. And so since then, I was like, all right, I'm going to learn the business side of it. I'm going to learn how to talk to the clients, how to talk to customers, dealerships, learning the materials that are needed to do this work.
How much money you're going to spend on
everything, compressor, tools, sanding tools, air guns, paint, spray guns, every little detail. And just literally mastering how to do the work.
Right.
Because I did not want to just learning it in a year and just be like, all right, I'm a bounce. Gone. So I've been doing it for about 5 years with them total, where I was just learning it and kind of just, I guess you could say, mastering it. And then like my mom is the one that kind of was encouraged me to be like, hey, like, do your own thing, and like, I'll help you, I'll support you. And bless my mom, she literally helped me started everything from helping me get the materials to the equipment. And she was like, I support you. And it was such a blessing that she was able to do that. And so since then, in the beginning, it was really, really slow. I think for the most of the year was really slow. It didn't start picking up till the past couple months, I would say. And there was moments where I was just like, because this was my full-time job.
Right.
After I was just like, all right, I parted ways, I'm gonna do my own thing. And I wasn't making any money. And I was like, how am I gonna provide for my daughter, provide for myself, pay all these bills? And there was moments that I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go back to working at Starbucks, or temporary, right? I was like, I'm gonna work at Starbucks just so I can make some money, or go back to doing some kind of construction, I can make some money. And I just kept hearing, I just feel like it was like the Lord was telling me, like, just like, stay. That's kind of what I was feeling in my heart, was just like, just stay, just like push through it.
Yeah.
And I did, bro. And now a year later, a month now, uh, some of the places that I do work at have been expanding, buying more vehicles, buying one of my dealerships. They just bought the whole land that they had, tore down a whole bunch of trees, laid down a whole bunch of concrete, and are about to buy just a whole bunch of vehicles. So I can, within 6 months to a year in that place, it's about to be really, really big. And, so my end goal with this is just learning, teaching people, train them how to do this work, and then sending them off to these places that I work at right now where I can just handle the business side of it, whether, it's picking up more clients in dealerships, excuse me, more work. And so either that or I don't know. Like I'm in a place where that's what's providing. That's where I'm able to take care of my bills and provide for my daughter and for myself. And but I'm also in a place where like trying to ask the Lord if this is what He wants from me, because we all say this is what I want to do, this is what my desires are, and we don't know if that's what God's plan is for our lives, right? And so in the midst of still working hard and still trying to figure this out and still continue to grow it, I'm still trying to ask the Lord, hey God, is this like something that you want me to do long term?
Yeah.
Is it fighting? Is it who knows? Like I don't know, right? And so I'm just trying to be patient with it, but for now it's steady and it's picking up, and I'm excited for that, to see where it goes.
Man, first of all, bro, let me tell the people how good you are at what you do, bro. You are so good at what you do. And from the beginning, when you told me what you did and I saw your work, I was like, brother, you are good at this. This is what you need to be doing, because the way you leave the rims are just so clean, bro. And you've done my rims several times, and I promise you guys, I'm not just saying it because he's my homie, but I'm telling you, man, it's just the job is so clean, and I love that, bro. But let's backtrack for a little bit, Brent. How was the process of you taking that leap of faith? Because I remember being there with you through those moments, and we talked about it. That is a hard place to be in, right? When you take that leap of faith and trying to, first of all, believe in what you're trying to do, trying to make it happen. But you don't know if it will happen. That's a scary place. It's
funny because you literally were there from the very, very beginning of when I started this. All when I literally, I remember you came to the house and I was just literally out there in my house, the other BMW you had, and just figuring it out.
Bro, was that scary?
I'm assuming that was scary. Yeah, because you were my first client. He was my first client. I had no dealerships quite yet, and I didn't have any clientele. And he came up, he was like, bro, I got you. So that was my first income right there.
I got you, bro.
I was like, mama, we made it. But I remember, from that point on to like that point till now, it was definitely a leap of faith. And it was just, I think with anything in life, man, I think you got to be very consistent, very like devoted in your work, and have that faith in God that He's going to provide no matter what.
Yeah. I think that's the hard struggle, especially at the beginning. It's letting people know, first of all, like putting yourself out there, right? People don't know that you're good at this. People are just seeing somebody's like coming up, oh, another guy doing a certain job.
Right.
But, I remember we had that conversation. I'm like, yo, Kevin, what? Go to dealerships, bro. Go put yourself out there. Like, don't be scared. I mean, the worst they can say is no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like now, let people know what kind of cars you've worked with, right? Because you don't work with just regular girl. We work with everything, right? You do every type of
I've done, a couple Uruses, BMWs, M packages, bro, everything. Mercedes, G-Wagons, to I don't know, dude. Bentleys. I've done a Bentley before. I've done so many cars, dude. Yeah. That came and right now at the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely tried to advertise my work through Instagram and posts and just word of mouth as well, so that people can trust what I do, right? Especially expensive cars like that.
Yeah. And I think you're at a point right now in your business that you have so much work, so much proof of what you've done that people are comfortable with going to you and not questioning a lot. Like, yo,
right?
Are you good at this? Right? And word of mouth, right? Your friends have referred you to different people, and that's part of the growth process, right? So now that I'm hearing from you, it's that you want to basically own a bigger business. So if it keeps growing, you kind of want to, what do you want to do? You want to have other people work for you so they can do those jobs, and basically you give them a percentage of that, or
Right, yeah,
what are you
yeah.
planning?
By the way, add me on Instagram at Ultimate Wheel Repair. But
I'll leave all the links
yeah, no,
on the description.
yeah. So the main goal, like the thing, is just teaching people how to do the wheel repairing.
Right.
Also, I feel like I've been thinking about like also like contracting people that do window tinting, car detailing,
Oh,
so that I'm not just a business that just provides wheel repairing,
you want a little bit of everything.
but have a little bit of window tinting, car detailing. I mean, I also paint brake calipers. So doing that, just, having a group of people that, and then, yeah, pay, like whatever, paying a percentage to whatever it is that is being made, but that ultimately I can just funnel in so much work and
Right.
business. So I'm not out there on the field. Obviously, I don't want to be on the field when I'm 30, 35, 40 still doing the work. Definitely at that point, being 10, 15 years in, I should be
Right.
kind of just making the calls
Right.
and sending work.
You kind of want to be like a one-stop shop almost
Yeah,
for a lot
so
of things.
I
cars related.
definitely would love, like, the vision is having a set spot, a set location where people can go in, but also provide mobile services. So if people are out an hour away or a different location and they can't make it to the spot, no worries. I have a guy that's going to come out to you and provide that service for you.
Right.
So
That's
just
good.
making it convenient.
That's really good, bro. Like now that I'm thinking about that, if you were to have a set spot and people can just go to you for all that and have appointments made,
Right.
now you know that, like, hey, I'm making money this week. You won't have to always kind of like wait for clients to reach out
Right,
to you and stuff like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really good, bro. I hope that happens, because that would be interesting. Definitely
Yeah.
be taking my future cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure, man. And by the way, if you want other people like to start working with you, especially like young entrepreneurs, you should definitely reach out to people who are starting in the business as well, because
Yeah.
you can create more business for them,
Right.
and vice versa.
Vice
you know
versa,
what I mean?
right.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, moving on to another important part of your life that I know it's, she's really big on your life. Talking about your daughter Ava, being a single dad, managing, your relationship with your ex. I feel like that's also part of your growth in life, right? That you've taken, because you started really young, getting married, or at least considerably young, and having a baby. How has that process been? What has your daughter meant to your life? Just talk about her, man. Talk about your relationship, how hard it is, the struggles that you may have as a single dad now. But you talked a little bit, but you can get into it.
Yeah,
Brother.
no. So I've never really realized. So when I really started, I guess, back in the church and trying to have my relationship with God, I've heard people say, make sure you have Christ in the middle of your relationship, and make sure you're good with God, and making sure that that you're always having like that everyday, daily relationship with the Lord, so that He can help you and guide you and lead you. And I didn't have that example growing up, and so I was 20 when my daughter was born. I think I got married. Yeah, I think married at 19. No, pause. 2019 is when I got married. 2020, a year later, divorced.
How old were you when you got married? If you remember.
I was.
How old are you now? Let's backtrack. Let's do some
I'm
fifth grade math.
Yeah, I'm 26 now, about to be 27. 27 on the 27th.
We're like 19.
I was 20 years old when Ava was born. So I was like, 19.
Okay.
Yeah, 19, 20, yeah, around
That was really young, man.
for me, yeah. It was obviously none of that was like something that was at this age I want to have a kid, and at this age want to be married. It was, bro, it just happened. It just happened, and I as it happened, I was just putting the pieces together. The only one thing I knew for certain, it was like, I'm gonna be the dad I never had for my daughter, and that was for me.
Deep.
No matter what, like I always growing up, it was like I longed for that. Like I never like. I mean, I had a stepdad, and I had my dad was in Colombia at the time because he's passed away, but it wasn't where I could go to a father figure and talk to him about certain things. And
let me ask you a deep question. What did you feel was the biggest impact in your life not having a father or a father figure that you can rely on in your life?
The biggest impact is you don't realize how like later on in the future that really messes with somebody. And I feel like as a man, not having a male figure there, first a male figure that loves the Lord is I think the number one thing, because that just sets everything else like
Into
sets
place.
yeah everything else in place. For me, it was there's certain things that I've like I feel like I'm dealing with now is being just communication and learning how to love and reciprocate it and learning how to be understanding and being a leader. And
Right.
literally, I'm doing all this right now on my own with Christ, which is so like it's not easy and it's hard because I feel like even to this day, like by the reaction of my daughter and how she acts with me and how we act in our relationship, I know I'm a good dad. But there's just still part of me that I'm like that there's I feel like I could do more.
You could have been set up better.
Yeah, set up better, right?
You know what I mean?
And so now it's like I'm doing like so much more. I feel like having to do so much more work that so that my daughter doesn't go through that.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is a father figure could have built so much more character and maybe even mindsets, leadership, how to be a man, how to carry yourself. That now when you're a dad, you could have easily done that with your daughter.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, like, so my stepdad, he instilled the discipline. He instilled, like, he provided, financially. We were able to go to so many places,
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii and Colombia and Mexico, like so many. We were able to travel so much. Me and my brother grew up playing golf.
Right.
We had that, support financially, and but just there's so much more to just money and
Then just being a dad is a lot.
right.
There's not just financial things that you have to worry about. There's much more when it comes to, um, being a father and teaching your child. So I get that, man. The reason I'm asking is because I've also had my certain thoughts as well. My mom got divorced with my dad when I was like 4 or 5, and then I've saw him maybe a handful of times since then. You know what I mean? So I never had that, like, my biological father never had that father figure. Although I will say my stepdad that I have now, he's been a blessing to my life. Although we don't have the relationship, for many other reasons that I felt like I could have had it with a father figure. But you got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good.
Right.
So I think that's an important factor, man, because we do as men feel like later on in life you start wondering what could it have been,
Yeah.
now.
Right.
But thank God that we found a father in the Lord,
In the Lord,
in the
yeah.
Lord, and I think that's when we can rely on, man. One of the things I want to share with you, when I got saved and stuff, and we were talking about the Lord and all that process. When I hear people tell me, "Listen, God is proud of you," like the Lord is proud of you, the Lord just kind of tells me that, dude, I get really emotional because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
never got that from a father figure in my life throughout my life. And that is so important to me. And I didn't know how important it was. When I heard that the first time that, somebody told me, we're having a deep conversation and they told me, "Yo, the Lord is proud of you." Like I started bawling or crying,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
because it's just so meaningful,
Right.
for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, having a daughter completely changed my perspective on life in general. And I could have I just didn't take everything that I grew up and kind of just played that victim mentality. I
Right.
was just like, all right, well, it happened. I have a daughter, and I always told myself I'm going to be the dad I never had. And so since then, I mean, it's even such a young age, 6 years, almost 7 years later now, it's been a blast. It's been such a blessing. Um, and it's cool because I'm learning every day still. There's still things for me to learn. But she's so awesome, and she has such a personality like me, just very talkative and very open, and
She's
I
outgoing like you.
yeah, very outgoing, and I love it because it's something that the days that I have her, you know, we pray every night before we go to sleep. We're making it a habit where we read the word together before we go to sleep.
Wow.
Those little things like that, and even just this, like the little things of like music. When I'm with her, it's most of the time it's just worship music, and it's those things
Wow.
that over time, you know, it does a huge difference. The little things that you do over time, it starts to become just like a blessing for her. And like I never had that, right? So I know for her, she's gonna appreciate that, and I make it very, very I verbalize to her, like if there's things that she's dealing with. You know, she's a girl,
Yeah.
and she's, you know, there's moments that she's emotional at this age already and stuff like that. I always just like, I'm very, very attentive. I'm very like, hey, like,
Talk to me.
talk to me. Let's talk about what it is that you want, like what you're going through. And sometimes she'll be like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give you some space, but when you're ready, let's talk about it. Like, don't hold it in. Don't just throw it under the rug and just act like nothing happened. And so that's something that's very important for me, is to have all those things, like relationship stuff, established, so that as she gets older in her teenage years and young adult, she, you know, she can say that she had that dad that I never had. And so that's, for me, it's a blessing.
Hold up, bro. I'm about to take 5, bro. That's deep. No, that's deep, bro. That's
That, and so I'm in just, bro, so many things, man, because I'm also in a place where like having, like, finding a wife, because I desire to be married, and I desire to have somebody, and it's always been like, I feel like it's hard to find a woman that, at least from my experiences, find a woman that is okay with somebody that already has a kid,
right.
you know. And so for me, that's
Another struggle.
That's another struggle, because I mean, I desire to be married. I want to be married. I want to, again, but I want to be married the right way, and I want to have Christ in the center of it, and make it right. Redo what I didn't do the first time, and now that I am in a different place, where I am with God now than I was before, I know that it's something, like, I know what I want. I know how I want to do it, and I know that Christ has to be in the middle of it. And but just finding somebody that obviously is equally yoked, which is important, but also is okay with me having a daughter.
Yeah.
And I feel like, at least from my experience, like I said, it's hard to find a woman that is okay with that.
You know, and it's not. It's to be honest, I feel like nowadays in society, we see a lot of just me. Like, there's a lot of, like, you know, selfishness. I appreciate a lot of selfishness that's going around with people, and rightly so. You know, you always got to look out after yourself, especially the way things are in life and in the world, where, like, it's hard for people to put someone else in front of them. You know what I mean? And I feel like the great part about you finding a woman in the Lord is that, you know, she will love you for
No matter
not
what.
just who you are, but she will love your daughter and bring her in as part of her family. You know what I mean? Because with God's love, you know, you're able to look over that. You know, you're able to pass your own selfishness, your own desires and stuff like that. So I think that's the right way to do it, man. And going back to the Ava situation, I think we've seen women who have grown in the Lord and in Christ, and we know how beautiful that looks. And I think, have you ever thought about, like, wow, my daughter's going to be a woman of the Lord, and, like, eventually she's going to be a great woman. And I'm assuming that's what you want for.
No, 100%. That's something I'm trying to instill in her, that just to just love the Lord, is, you know, just the little things that I've been doing over time, that sometimes I like. Sometimes you know, I'll forget maybe to pray for the food, and she's like, Dada, let's pray for our food. Or, like, before we go to sleep, Dada, we got to pray. Or she'll put on worship music on her own.
Wow.
Which is, like, for me, it just fills my heart with joy, because it's like, I did that, you know? And
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, because
wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And so, like, I know, like, her growing up and finishing out her elementary years and going through middle school and high school, and potentially college, is like I want to see her be able to put God first in everything she does, and seek the Lord, and have that respect for herself and respect for others, and just being able to, most importantly, love like Jesus loves. Because it just takes one person to be that reflection of Christ to somebody who's never maybe met Christ or has let down by somebody, to completely change their perspective on what it is to have a relationship with Christ.
Right.
So it's, I mean, that is, yeah, that's something that I wanna continue to do with her. Make that a priority. So
Now that we're in the faith conversation, bro, let me ask you another deep question for the people maybe that are listening that are not, maybe they don't have a relationship with the Lord, maybe they don't understand the realm of things, and I want to, I want us to be real, right? What have you felt has been your biggest struggle, or what have you really felt like it was something hard to overcome during your faith? Whatever it is, what has been you felt like you have grown out of, or what have you felt like you're still struggling with now that you're going, still walking in your faith?
yeah, so for me, for the longest, like I mentioned earlier, it was marijuana for me.
Mm.
I feel like that was a huge thing for me, just because, like the Bible says, stay sober minded. And
For
so,
the Lord did not give me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind.
amen, brother.
Amen, brother.
So that, and I, also about 5 months ago, completely stopped drinking. I was like, all right, I'm done drinking, because I don't wanna have certain things to make me feel good temporary, and just be alert. And so, um, marijuana and drinking, I feel like
I feel like drinking, and I can vouch for that, it was big, in your life.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember when we had events, you always wanted to drink and stuff, bro. And not to put your business out like that, but it's something that at least you can admit that was an issue and that you're coming out
oh,
of,
100%.
bro.
No, it definitely was an issue. I feel like everywhere, everywhere we went, every event, I was like, "Yo, turn up! It's time
Turn
to
up.
drink." And then I did enjoy drinking. I did enjoy how it made me feel, and I think maybe sometimes a little bit too much, but I got to a point like 5 months ago that I was just like, bro, I need to start just getting my life together, dude, because it was a point where I was drinking a lot.
I remember those days.
And even like this past few, like the beginning of the year, it got to a point where it was like almost every day kind of thing. And it just, so in my health, I noticed my health was a little bit off, and which was kind of scary. And then um so I was just like, all right, that needs to stop as well. And so for me, I feel like once I actually say I'm not gonna do it anymore, but I give it to the Lord afterwards, that's where I've noticed that I can, like, I can do it.
Right.
Like, I have no desire to do it, but it's taking it to the Lord, and surrendering it to Him, like being genuine that don't want to do it anymore.
Change.
Yeah, and so He did the same thing with marijuana. When I got on my knees and screamed out to Him and was like, "Lord, take this away. I don't want the desire anymore." God was like, "All right, I got you." And the same thing with the drinking. He just took that desire. And there's been times this summer that people have offered me to drink. There's places that I've been to with hanging out with people and friends and stuff that people are drinking and offering me drinks. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't drink anymore.
No.
And so having that strength to say no, and
It's hard.
It's hard, but for me, it was just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling. So other than that, I think it's just like just being patient in what the Lord has for me, because there's things that I want, like, now. I want it now.
It's my money and I need it now.
Yeah. I want it now. Like, I want a woman, a woman of God that I can marry. I'm like, dude, I want a Ford Raptor. I want that now. And there's like, I want my business to grow right now so that I don't have to be on the field. Like, there's all these things that I'm just like, all right, I got to step back and just give it to the Lord, and just be patient with it, and having faith that He's going to provide, and He's going to give me more than what I'm asking, So.
Yeah. maybe he's preparing you for something greater, which we all believe that it's the case, you know.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think the times of when we want a lot of things in life, but when we keep giving it to the Lord and we keep trusting Him, you know, His time is perfect and His time will be right for you. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not. Sometimes it's not exactly what you want, but sometimes and a lot of the times it's better.
It's what we need.
Yeah, it's just what. Yeah, it's not what you want; it's what you need, and God provides that for you, bro. So, first of all, congratulations on getting over those humps. Hopefully, you keep staying, you know, in check with that. I know how hard it is, especially when it comes to the drinking situation. Because sometimes, man, you don't even. It's not even just about getting drunk. Sometimes you're with your friends and you're vibing and you're out,
Yeah,
you're having a
just for
good
social.
time, and social drinking, right? I've experienced that back in the past, but even then, I haven't, you know, drank in so long in years. Any type of anything, right? And sometimes when I see you guys or I will see people drink, I'm like, you know, I wish I could just get it like a little wine and just relax and things of that nature. Yeah, it just naturally happens. Maybe because of the vibes, maybe because of the setting, right? Or
Right.
maybe you're celebrating something and you just kind of want to just let go. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta let go and let God. You know what I'm talking about?
Let
But
go and
yeah,
let God.
man. So moving on into one of the next subjects that we can talk about, and this is more about your life and one of the things that you have been doing for a while. You're one of the reasons why right now I love MMA and I love the sport so much. It's not even funny, bro. But you have also done some fighting yourself, right? You've done immature fighting. You've gotten into the cage, and I was there at your first fight. I want you to tell the people what that process has been like, because that's it takes a lot of guts, bro. No matter what happens in the ring, it takes a lot of guts. So, uh,
Yeah,
what has that been like, brother?
yeah. So I've been doing. I started it back in 2019, around the same time that. Actually, it was right after I did get divorced, and I was like, "No, my life is falling apart.
No.
No, my life is falling apart." So I was like, "I gotta figure out something, dude, to get distracted." And I mean, I always followed Conor McGregor, and I was a huge fan. So I was like, "All right, let me try this." Because, bro, going from like playing golf all your life, pretty much, going to a whole different
You're going in,
sport,
yeah, that's
it's a whole different like different realm of
yeah.
of a sport. So I was like, I don't like really lifting weights. I don't really like going to the gym like that. I was like, let me just try this MMA stuff. So I actually started with jujitsu. Um, and then I was doing that for about a year. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna pick up Muay Thai. And I started doing Muay Thai. And then I would do I think I mean that first year I was hooked on to jujitsu, and I was like just hooked on to this whole martial arts thing. It was so much fun. Where I was like eating better. Like you're training this kind of martial arts, and it puts you in a position where like you want to eat better. You have to be more disciplined to train. There was in the beginning, dude, I was training like 2-3 times a day. Like it was a lot, and
Yeah.
it was fun because I didn't have really much anything else to do, and so I was just sticking with it. I started jujitsu, Muay Thai, then boxing, and then just started wrestling, and I just started doing all of it. Um, so I didn't start fighting till I think, was it last year? Was it that beginning of January last year, right? I think
Yeah, I
so.
think it was 2022 if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Or was it 23?
23. It was 23.
Also beginning of
Yeah.
2023 then.
So I didn't actually start fighting till the beginning of last
So
year.
when you mean fighting is getting into the
And
cage and fight somebody else.
yeah, getting into the in a not necessarily an octagon. That's the size of the UFC, but in the cage, just
Right.
MMA fighting, everything, boxing, jiu-jitsu, all of it.
Right.
Just your MMA gloves, and I mean for amateurs is shin pads, shin guards, I guess you can say. Um, I just so up to from 2019 up to the beginning of last year, I just was just training and preparing because I knew I wanted to fight. I knew I wanted to get that like that itch of fighting. I felt like what would it be like if I stepped in a cage and fight with somebody that is also wanting to take your head off.
That adrenaline.
Yeah,
Bro.
that adrenaline rush, dude. And I'm not gonna lie, that after that first fight, I was like, yo, this is like nothing that I've experienced.
Right.
Like just there's hundreds of people there, and then they call your coaches are like, all right, Kevin, get ready to walk out, and you're like, they put on your walkout
Your
music.
walkout song. Ooh.
And then you're just walking. Everybody, everybody's looking at you, and like you don't really see anybody. You're just tunnel vision. You're like in there, and the coach is like putting Vaseline all over you, and they're checking everything, and you're like, all right, you good? And then as soon as you step on that cage, and you see the other opponent right across the cage from you, and it's just you, the referee, and him, and then they close the doors, and he's like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm not ready anymore." But it's the adrenaline, bro. It's so much fun. And I want to continue. If I just haven't been fighting since my last fight was actually in January of this year. So it was my third fight. But I just haven't really been training as much as I would like to, just because of work.
Life, man.
My business and my daughter, and just pretty much work. I just been investing a lot of time in work that I haven't been taking the time to put in the gym, because this is a sport where, dude, you can't be half in and half out. Yeah, you gotta be training. Like these guys, bro, are training every day, almost every day, every week. That are watching what they eat, watching what they drink, very disciplined. And this is, like I said, this is not a sport where you can just like half-ass it. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, and so after my last fight in January of this year, I was just like, all right, I am doing a lot more work, and I'm not putting a lot of time in the gym. So I was like, I can't go out there and be like, I want to fight again,
right?
Just to lose,
just to go get handed.
Yeah, just to get pieced up. I mean, thank God on none of my fights I feel like I never got cut open or anything,
right?
And or
major injuries,
or any seriously serious injuries. Where I mean, there was one fight, I think, like my second fight, where my elbow was kind of uncomfortable, but that took me 2 weeks, and that's it. So my goal is right now is to really balance my work, but also balance my fighting, where I make a schedule where I'm still putting in enough work. So if that means that I have to wake up earlier to go train, or wake up earlier to go work and get out a little bit earlier in the afternoon so I can make it to the night classes, evening classes to train, I got to start doing that.
Right.
Because this is a sport that I love, bro. And it's a sport that it takes discipline, and you can't be drinking soda all the time. You can't be eating all these fried stuff all the time, especially when you're in fight camp. You can't do any of that. Right. And it sucks. It freaking sucks, especially with the weight cut week, when you're barely eating and you're drowning, you're filling your body up with so much water, and then just losing all that weight. Like I fought at 135 twice, I believe. Yeah, twice. And that was hard.
Yeah. What's your walking weight?
My walk around weight right now is like 160.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
25-pound difference, dog.
Well, about 160, give or take. It fluctuates between 160 and 165, just depends. Where I felt good was when on my first fight that you went to. That was at 145, and that was an easy cut. But I overestimated everything, and was like, I'm just gonna train just the martial arts and think that I was gonna be good. But you see all these UFC fighters, bro, they're not just training jiu-jitsu. No. They're not just training boxing and Muay Thai and wrestling. They're lifting weights. Yeah. They're putting in muscle weight, and just to like having their body defined, and strength and muscle strength. Like all of this stuff, dude, is not just martial arts. So I want to be, before my next fight, I think when I had talked to my coach, shout out to Diego Lima from American Top Team Lima. He fought in the UFC. Yeah. And then his brother Douglas actually fights tonight for the Bellator.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, Douglas.
That's dope. Douglas, we got to watch that one.
Yeah, that's tonight for the Bellator. Dope. And then another teammate, Cody Durden. Shout out to him too. He fights tonight for the UFC. 1 week notice.
Fight night?
Yeah, tonight.
Damn.
1 week notice. Took that fight.
You have to, man. Yeah. I think you have to, right? When you get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Gotta run it with it.
He's been doing a great run. He fought in the same organization I'm fighting in right now, NFC. Yeah, here instead of Georgia.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, so
that's so awesome to see, man.
Yeah. So before I have a conversation with my main coach Diego, I'm gonna tell him, hey, I wanna take another fight. He's gonna be like, yo, well, I need you here in the gym. I need you to put in this work. I need you to show me that you want to. Yeah. Because I don't want to go into my next fight He's like I think he told me my next fight is a pro amateur, so it's like technically you don't wear no shin pads anymore. So
Gotcha.
it's just the gloves and you no shin pads, and now you can kick and ground and pound where it's allowed now. And so the rules change a little bit, but I'm like, bro, if someone's going to start hitting me on the ground this time, I gotta be, I gotta be ready,
bro. They gotta be ready. And you know, one of the things that I feel like for the people who have never fought in their life before, right? Like that adrenaline rush that you get in fighting is
like my heart rate is beating right now. Just thinking about
first
it.
of all, you feel like your heart's coming out of your chest, but it's like sometimes like an out of body experience because when your body is in fight or flight response, even when they hit you,
you don't feel nothing, bro.
You feel the impact, but you don't feel the pain. Like
you don't
you're
feel
just
it.
because it's your fight or flight, right? And I've when I was younger, so I don't know if you know this, Kevin, but when I was younger, I think when I was like 7, 8 years old, we used to have like a lot of like older men put like younger kids to just have boxing gloves and just send it and just go at it.
Kimbo Slice style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was, fighting with kids who were either a little bit older than me, a couple years older, and you used to get in there and just fight, bro. Fight. So, and throughout school, throughout my life, like when I was in El Salvador, fighting was a constant thing, like if you had a problem with somebody and then it became bigger than it should have been, then you fight, whatever reason, you just fight. And then, we're kids, but that adrenaline rush, you start getting used to and comfortable because you're just like, here we go. Like, I know where this is coming from and I can relate.
Yeah.
Exactly. That experience means a lot, bro. Because when you start fighting, it's like, let's get it. You know what I mean? People don't know how to react to that sometimes. And I'm sure when you felt that you went into that ring that first time, you were like, oh,
no, dude. It's funny that you're talking about that because so when you spar in your gym and with your teammates, it's not like they're going at it. Nobody's going 100%.
Right.
And so I'm going into my first fight thinking, oh, it's going to be something like that. Bro, we start going at it like the bell rings and we're like kind of feeling each other out, throwing, back and forth leg kicks and stuff like that. And then he holds me against the cage. He throws one knee straight into my stomach. And I remember just like looking onto your side of the like where you guys were at. He kneed me right into the stomach. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, he not playing, bro. I was like, this is for real. That was that moment. Like that was like a minute into that first round. That's where I was like, oh, it's serious. Like it didn't click to me into that moment. He kneed me straight into the stomach and took the wind out of me. And I see all of you guys on that side just yelling, ah! And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh gosh, this hurts. I was like, he's trying to end me, bro. And so. But just being in there, bro, is an experience that, I mean, you can't experience literally anywhere else but in the cage, and it's fun. I love it. I love the sport. I love the training. I love just my teammates that I'm at American Top Team. Just everything. But like I said, because of my business this whole year that I've been in it, it's just been so much more of that, and I haven't been putting in the time and effort into the gym. And so before I do want to get my next fight, I want to make sure I'm putting in at least a couple months before I'm like, all right, I'm picking up
work in. Yeah,
I need to start shutting down a little bit of weight, eating a little bit better, just drinking, things that I need to be drinking, cutting out soda, stuff like that, being more disciplined. And I just feel like I've just been lacking in that, to be honest, just because I've been just so focused on work. And so that's something I need to balance. But once I do, I'll let you know when my next fight is.
Bro, let me know. I'd love to go. They're fire, bro. Seeing like that whole card and just seeing other people fight, it gets real, bro. And every fight gets better because it keeps moving on. And
they start off with amateurs, and then they start going to pro amies, and then the professionals towards the end. And so it starts. You see the level. You get to notice the level of, and I'm not gonna lie, my fights that I've had, I don't think. I look back at my videos, I'm just like, ew. I'm just like, that's how I fight. But I could tell I'm just like, I'm so nervous. Yeah. I'm just so nervous to get hit. And you just got to be in there, bro. Like Nate Diaz, kill to be killed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of mentality you have to have. And so until I have that mentality, until I have that training where I'm like, okay, I feel confident, bro. I'm going to go in that cage and rip his head off. That's when I'm going to go back in there.
Yeah, and I know you say kill, be killed. But then people like might take that as an exaggeration. But to be honest, you got to have that mindset when you go in there, because you're a warrior, bro. You're in there fighting. Like, again, you will only understand until you get into those situations of fighting, of that adrenaline rush where you feel like you're fighting for your life, you know? And to be honest, we as humans have been survivalists and fighters for ages. It's not something that's new to us. You know what I mean? It's something that's like, it's in our blood. If you think about all the history that we've gone, it's always included in fighting or some type of war or survival situation. It's always been like that for us. So, but dude, I'm proud of you for getting into all that, bro. Cause I'm sure it's not easy. It's not easy. And you know, whatever happens in the ring, you got to have respect for that person getting in. Cause again, that adrenaline rush, your heart's
it's crazy
coming out of your chest, bro. But yeah, man. Hey, brother, listen, this has been great conversation, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this has been really good, bro.
Appreciate you. It took so long to get me on this.
No. Listen,
finally made it happen.
You made it to the big leagues. I'm playing, man. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us, or should we save it for the next podcast when you come back?
Yeah, I mean, we can. I guess for the next time. I don't know.
Yeah, we're good. No, I'm just making sure, bro. But I appreciate you coming on. Thank you, bro. This was a really great conversation. I really appreciate it, bro. You shared, I think, a lot of important things that people can learn and can grow from. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, this right here will conclude the end of our podcast. Again, shout out to Kevin. And don't forget, guys, to subscribe to the channel. You know, if you're listening to this on all the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. You can also watch it in 4K on YouTube. You know, subscribe to the channel, like the channel. You know, you can see our beautiful faces in 4K, by the way. You know what I mean? 4K. So thank you guys for all the love. Thank you for always listening, man. Again, Kevin, thank you for coming on, brother. I appreciate you, man. Oh, yeah. All right.
I'm about to make a name for myself.
Yo, hey, shout out to my movie. Hey, what a movie partner?
Marvel movie partner, bro.
Yeah, let's go, man. Hey, thank you guys. See you guys on the next one. As always, peace and love. Take care of each other, family. Adios.
That was solid, bro.